Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk to you guys today about 9/11 and how it was an inside job. Now, I'm sure many of you guys remember what you were doing and where you were on September 11th, 2001. I'm sure a lot of you still have many questions as to why the World Trade Centers were attacked that day. Well, many of you probably don't know, but the attacks on 9/11 is actually being used here in the U.S. as well as all over the world to destroy our basic liberties and freedoms. The governments use it as a pretext to spy on their populations as well as torture and even murder. I'm sure now a lot of you guys have heard the phrase history repeats itself. Well, yes, it does. For some good examples are, just look at Operation Northwoods, the Gulf of Tonkin. Those are all false flags that have been in the past. Operation Ajax, same thing. Another great example is what actually started World War II. Hitler had gained more power as chancellor when they had firebombed their own capital in July 27th, 1933, I believe. They also attacked many of their own military bases and blamed it on enemies that they wanted to invade. But the attacks on 9/11 was an inside job. There are literally hundreds of solid concrete evidence that prove it was not just terrorists on some planes. Now today I'm going to talk to you about a few smoking guns that prove 9/11 was an inside job. Starting off, why did NORAD stand down? Well, Dick Cheney had put an order in about a month prior to 9/11 stating that they are not allowed to shoot down any aircraft, but right after the attack he rescinded the order. During the commission hearings of 9/11, Secretary of Transportation Norman Minnetti's testimony was actually taken out. He had stated that Cheney was at NORAD and told them not to shoot down the plane as it was 50 miles out, 30 miles out, 10 miles out. Now Cheney is on record saying that he was there but had left before the towers had been hit. But in Minnetti's testimony he said absolutely not. Cheney was still there when the towers were hit. And what was the cause of World Trade Center 7 to collapse? I mean, it did collapse the same way as the other ones did, but it obviously wasn't hit by a plane. Well, official FEMA reports said it was fire damage, and that was the reason for the building to collapse. Larry Silverstein, the World Trade Center leaseholder, he is on record admitting to the ordering of the controlled demolition of Building 7. Now, BBC and CNN had also reported that Building 7 had already collapsed before it actually had collapsed. You can actually look that up on YouTube. There's a lot of videos out there. The BBC, the reporter, she's talking about, oh my gosh, the tower's falling down. You know, there's all this stuff's going on. And the whole time she's talking, the Building 7 is still standing behind her. And then you see they kind of realize it, and the screen goes fuzzy, and they're having technical difficulties. And a few minutes later, she comes back, and they're talking, and then of course it's fallen at that point. At first they said they didn't come out and say that, but then of course it was proven it was on video. I mean, they were filming, and they came out and said, okay, yes, we did say that. Mayor Rudy Giuliani had also been warned about the imminent collapse of the South Tower. He was actually in the South Tower and got a warning saying that it was going to collapse, and he left 10 minutes prior to the collapse. Now, when they asked him about that, he said he could not recall those 10 minutes prior to the collapse. He said there was a lot of confusion going on, so he said he couldn't really recall. Also, now, did our governments know about the attacks? Well, someone had actually told a number of public officials not to fly into New York due to security threats on September 10th. The FBI also released a few days after a list of the 19 terrorist hijackers. At least 4 of them were still alive, and also the FBI just happened to magically find 2 passports that fell out of the fireball explosion and was buried beneath all the debris and rubble, completely intact. But nothing else survived. Everything else burned up in the explosion. Newsweek had actually reported twice that some top Pentagon officials had gotten a warning of the impending attack on September 10th, and they all had canceled their flights the next day. From July 4th to the 14th, 2001, Osama bin Laden was being treated for a kidney infection at an American hospital in UAE in Dubai. While he was there, he met with CIA Station Chief Larry Mitchell on multiple occasions. During these occasions, they had many conversations, and some of these conversations, bin Laden had given Larry Mitchell specific information about an immediate attack on the U.S. Another interesting fact is bin Laden had numerous family members who were in the United States and actually left by chartered flights after September 11th, while all other flights had been canceled. And another known fact a lot of people don't know is Osama bin Laden was actually trained in the United States as a CIA informant in the 80s and 90s. The Pentagon, was it attacked by a plane or a missile? Well, there's a lot of things going back and forth. Some people are saying it was a missile, some people are saying it was a plane. They have numerous reports of different people. Who knows if they had hired these people to say that or whatever. But the evidence at the scene would suggest that it was not a plane. There was no debris or wreckage from a plane. Plus, they said it was a 757. Now, that's a pretty big plane. You're telling me that a 757 crashed into the Pentagon and they were able to clean up all the debris. There was no evidence of any debris anywhere from a plane crashing. They also had tons of video footage which was confiscated by the FBI. My thing is, excuse me, if there was video footage of a plane hitting the Pentagon, why wouldn't they show us the videos, show us some proof? Another interesting fact, too, is that Donald Rumsfeld had held a press conference on September 10th admitting that they can't account for, I believe it was $2.3 trillion of our money. And then after 9/11, the story was kind of covered up and it was kind of brushed under the rug. Nobody said anything else about it. So there's a few examples. There's literally hundreds out there. Just do your own research. They use an equation called problem reaction solution, basically, and this has been through history. They've done this many times. It's not just our governments, many other governments, but you create a problem, you wait for a reaction, and then you offer solution. Perfect example, 9/11. We create a problem, boom, towers are blown up, people are dead. Wait for a reaction, the public, people, everyone's freaking out like, hey, what are we going to do about this? Who's responsible? And they offer a solution. Oh, it was Al-Qaeda, it was bin Laden, we need to go to Afghanistan and go to war. That's what we need to do, and that's what geared up the war to go to Afghanistan. So there you have it. There's a few examples of the fact that it was a cover-up for alternate agendas by our government. I challenge everyone to wake up and do their own research, because there are many things out there that they don't want us to know about and they don't tell us about, because they just all want us to shut up and watch football and eat our TV dinners, stay at home, and live in fear. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you guys have a great day.